So I have been working on a Master's of Business Administration for this year. I do usually two things at once. Like I've been doing the MBA, and I always have some other type of tech training going on, or some MCLEs, or business consulting. I've learned a lot over the last couple few years. I finished my paralegal training in 2014. And I started Apex Law Service a few years ago, and I started a DBA last year, Praxis Professional, um, praxisprofessional.com. I'm building towards making a private foundation out of the business trust. Um, Business trust, I like how trusts work, but initially the business trust entity type, I made it because I didn't have to pay an $800 a year incorporation fee to the state of California, to the Secretary of State. Um, and that was it. That was my reason. I had $0. I'm a security supervisor now for a large security guard business at a gated community. And it has its issues, and I have my thoughts about security, businesses, and the industry. But when you work for a very large business, clients contract with them because they have protections that are afforded to them by a large legal department. If something that truly affects their liability, the client's liability, were to occur, there's a lot of buffer room. So I think a lot of us who work in little small posts kind of critique large businesses, but I get why they work how they work. Um, what I've been into, though, is putting together AI chatbots, and also making communication portals and different email addresses for people so we can communicate to do volunteer paralegal work for pro bono cases for attorneys who take sex trafficking victims on as clients. So I've been working with these different private investigation groups, non-governmental organizations, and it's just an individual at each one who says, yes, okay, when you have a little group of people together, an attorney who can take one of these people we've helped, who we've pulled out, they pull people out of these sex trafficking situations by working with local or foreign law enforcement. And those situations, I mean, I could talk about how they operate and function all day. It's really very interesting, but they have people who have been saved from being victimized, but they still have the damage inside themselves and in their life situation, where they can use attorneys, to advocate for them, to help them apply to different governmental programs for different funding for things. And then so we want to do volunteer paralegal work for those attorneys, and it's been an up and down thing, where I get someone a little on board, and then they just can't time commit, or they want to do something one way, and I haven't unamicably parted ways with anybody. It's always like, hey, it's that's totally fine. I'm sorry I sounded like I wanted to do things the way you thought I was saying, but I mean this other way, and I can only do this other thing. So now that it's clear, we do have to part ways. Sorry if I caused you to be verklempt at all, but that's all it ever is. I haven't caused anybody any damage. The way our contracts are written is just a different thing, where people sometimes, they want me to just introduce the client to them, and then they want to hire us, whereas we have a client sign a contract with us first. And it says that an attorney who signs into this contract that they've signed with us will become their attorney, and will then tell us what to do for them for their law case. Some attorneys have no problem with it at all. Other attorneys don't like it as much. I just have it under advisement to do it this way only, for how my business is set up. So when we get kind of a channel of more throughput of actual casework going on, rather than all the preparatory work that I have done over the last couple of years. It'll be better. There's also tax benefits that I'm working on, categorizing the right way, forming this into a private foundation, making sure to always pay all the bills. My overhead's about $1,000 to $1,500 a month, depending on how you look at it. I have two entities. One's a tech entity, and one's a contract paralegal entity with a DBA, and I'm working on categorizing that as a private foundation. And the tech entity is a business trust also. It's viewed with 8832 filing with the IRS as a corporation. We're ready to roll, but just getting people motivated to do the basic thing. I can get people motivated with one type of language, but then when I get into the technicalities of it, they just feel something. But I know I'm right. And I'm not saying that they're wrong to make their personal choice to say they don't want to do things that way. But I know that what way we're doing business is not wrong. Or else I'd be shut down by the prosecutor's office and the Bar Association. They do not do that. They definitely do not do that. So just being small, people look askance at things until you get a little bit bigger and make a better presentation. I'm a guy with poofy hair and a crappy laptop camera with some blurry degrees on the wall. That's my religion major from Cal Lutheran. This is my paralegal certificate from the University of San Diego. And that's Sam Ovens before he shut down consulting.com. He's motivational. I keep him up there because I do want to show people this methodology of doing things, but I kind of have an altruistic purpose mainly. Not kind of. I mainly have that as a goal, but I think I can help people spin off their own little operations. So that's that. Kids get abused out there. People get abused out there. And then those people turn around and they have bad habits that they pick up for ways of dealing with how they've been treated. And they end up being charged with crimes also. Like, people end up with drug problems, drinking and driving. The saddest thing, drugs is a very sad thing. Okay, but legally the saddest thing is when someone themselves ends up with their own adult sex crime. Especially when, it's heinous when you see them victimizing someone else, but a lot of times they just turn tricks or something. I'm not going to say that that's a victimless crime, but it's just really sad when they themselves were sex trafficked in the first place, and that's how they progress in their life a few years later. So if you want to volunteer, praxisprofessional.com, praxisprofessional.com. I'll put it in the little put the link down below.